Okay, hello, my name is Chris Beard, Costar Mobile Video. I'm the sales manager. This is my contact information here. You can jot it down. I will have it available to you at the end, but I'll be following up with the email addresses that were submitted in your the registration process, so you'll have it then as well. We're going to, the phones or the lines here will be muted, so we would like to ask that you use the chat feature, and at the end of the presentation, we'll then go over those questions via the chat feature. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Costar Mobile Video is surveillance and monitoring for enhanced safety. And what we provide are onboard video surveillance recording solutions, collision avoidance solutions, driver-passenger behavior modification, improve safety and security, protect company assets, provide reliable legal evidence, stop frivolous lawsuits, and what we deliver is product dependability, scalable systems, professional expertise and knowledge, timely turnaround and responsive support, customized solutions. Now, as we move on here, we're going to go over the agenda of how I've got this presentation broken down. The multiple industries will be impressed with all the possibilities of everywhere that surveillance and collision avoidance systems in the mobile market are beneficial. And then, of course, the main benefits I've got to show you all. Opportunities to make money. That's an important part here. Product. We'll go over some of the products we have to offer to make up these systems, and then the product features and software involved. All right, first, as far as the industries goes, public and private transportation. That goes for school districts. They're both private and public school districts around the country. Transit buses, light rail and heavy rail, shuttle buses, college and university buses, church buses, prison transport, motor coach, touring coach, taxi and livery. The next are service vehicles, waste and refuse, shredding service, food and beverage, tow recovery, armored trucks, mining and heavy duty equipment, all delivery vehicles, over-the-road haulers, service trucks, and utility trucks. Next are the first responders, fire and rescue, EMS, law enforcement, and SWAT tactical. I'd like to, I guess, pinpoint four in particular benefits the mobile surveillance and monitoring systems will benefit in your customers. Behavior modification, minimize liabilities, provide documentation, and the ROI, return on investment. Overall, you'll see that throughout the presentation, I guess, involving the behavior and the liabilities and providing the documentation. Passengers, the passenger operated behavior will be modified. There's no doubt. When there's a recording system on board and they know it's there, they are going to behave differently. Passengers are likely to cause less disturbance. This will deter criminal activity. Operators will treat the passengers better. They also will drive more cautiously, lessen traffic incidents, and the DVRs do have built-in accelerometers and GPS to help in this area as well. Minimize liabilities. So recordings on board will help substantiate or refute accusations. That goes either way for the passenger or the operator. Increase ridership. Passengers will feel safer and have a better sense of security. So that goes for transit, as far as public transit, even school districts. Minimize assaults, theft, vandalism, and bullying. Monitors on board any of these systems will help the operator eliminate blind spots, avoid collisions, pedestrian injuries, or even fatalities. Providing documentation, which is important, proof one way or the other, proof of the incident, accusation, behavior, misconduct. I'd like to go over a few examples here that are probably just not commonly known unless you were involved in this industry. And this is just things I've experienced over the years. You got your basic stuff, theft, someone, assaulted someone and you catch it on video. Johnny pulled Susie's pigtails on a bus, things of this nature. However, think about this. Let's refer to the refuse or waste industry. A company is accused of not picking up the dumpster. Every week, he normally goes to this restaurant or strip mall and picks up the load of trash and moves on. The customer calls in saying, "Hey, your driver missed me today." Did he miss it, or did the customer refill the dumpster? And now is asking, "Hey, you need to come here and actually do it. You never, provided the service in the first place." This is known in the industry as double dip. So now, if you imagine that refuse truck has a rear vision system, very common, but now it's also got cameras and recorder involved to now prove and document that they were at that location and indeed did get that load and dump the dumpster and set it back. And now you have the proof that, hey, we were there and there's something going on here. Another, the repo tow recovery industry. When they go to retrieve a vehicle for whatever reason, illegally parked or repossession, there's also the question of, hey, that damage wasn't on my vehicle. This is very common. This way, if that vehicle does have a recording system, they can then have proof that that fender was dented or whatnot, or the windshield was cracked or windows cracked. They also have proof if they're being confronted by the person who owns that vehicle. That's very important as well. Let's say a vehicle, a daily route truck, whether it's refuse delivery or whatever, they're accused of damaging a vehicle that they go by every day in the parking lot or down a residential street or whatnot. If that vehicle, that truck, that business truck, has video being recorded on their route, you have the whole route, then you can prove and document that, hey, my truck did not hit that car when it passed by that area. And that can be very, very useful information. Insurance. This is something that many companies will benefit from. The fact that having video system on your vehicles to document their innocence or that they're being cautious the way the drivers are driving can help them as far as the premiums go. Some school districts are self-insured, so that may not apply, but most companies, this is very beneficial. Over the years, it seems like the tow recovery industry is one of the bigger ones saying that, oh yeah, they will save money if they get proof to their insurance provider that their trucks are outfitted with video systems. This is the part we're talking about making some money, providing services for your customers, service contracts. Not anything, I doubt, different from what you're doing right now to help maintain your customers' video surveillance systems on the buildings. We're just talking about here on the vehicles, of course. And in the mobile industry, it's rather harsh at times, so it is real important that they're kept monitored and that someone is ready to be able to take care of a system if it were to fail one way or another. We do provide a 3-year limited warranty on our products, so we got you covered as far as the products go for the first 3 years. You may want to offer, some sort of service contract or extended warranty, 2 to 5 years, on-site maintenance, things of this nature. Also something big, and we'll get into a little bit more in just a moment, but make sure you include a health check status feature using Wi-Fi or cellular network. All of our systems, you can have a health check status either live or via Wi-Fi once you enter back into the bus yard or the facility yard where the vehicles come back and return at the end of their shift or at the end of the workday. Then your system will then send the signal to your office, again, via Wi-Fi or cellular, that maybe camera number 2 is out or that it's not recording, things of this nature. So that way you can be more proactive as far as getting things taken care of, repaired, and up and running again before you really need footage and then realize that something may not have been recorded. Vehicle fleets mean repeat sales. And what I'm getting at here is the actual vehicle itself, the truck, the school buses, whatever it may be. When they replace those, they'll need new video systems. Typically, they don't remove the video systems. They're going to get new video recording systems and whatnot with the new vehicle. So you may want to cover possibly the warranty of how long they keep the vehicle, if it makes sense. And then, once that vehicle is replaced, you outfit it with new equipment. And then, of course, you start the new service contract on that new vehicle as well. Schools and public agencies or transit agencies are very common for rotating or replacing their buses every so many years, a certain percentage. Maybe every year they get rid of the oldest buses, replaced with new ones. So it's repeat business almost like every year, especially with school districts I'm most familiar with. Every year they replace a certain percentage with their buses. We're going to move into the product line here. These are our three most common products we offer: a 5-channel, 8-channel, or 12-channel. Of course, depending on the needs and what kind of coverage your customer may need. These are all hybrid, meaning that they record analog high def 1080p, which is a basic, similar coax cable or full pin connection, or full IP 1080p resolution. All of our recording devices have removable storage, whether it's the main hard drive and or the removable backup. All three of those models have a backup system. In other words, the main storage media can be a spinning hard drive or it can be a solid-state SSD drive. Then also have an SD backup card, which works in two different ways. If for some reason one of the main drives is corrupt, or you just don't want to pull it. Let's say at the end of the shift, they need some footage. Instead of removing the whole drive, you just go out and remove the little SD card, or just swap out the little SD card and you leave the main storage device there in place. So that way, when the vehicle leaves the next morning, you don't have to worry that it had, a hard drive in place so it can resume its recording capabilities. So all of them have backup recording capabilities as well. Here we're talking about the different camera heads we have available. Excuse me. Interior and exterior, IP or AHD. All of our analogs are AHD now with 1080p resolution. And of course, the IP, as mentioned, is 1080p as well. So depending on if it's inside or outside, what the application is and what we're needing to view, we've got the camera set up for y'all. Want to touch on our software. It is very, very rich as far as features and reports and information that will provide your customer. We call it StarPoint. That's our viewer. And with that, you can see up to a course of 12 views all at one time, or any one in particular. We have GPS mapping. All of our systems, by the way, have passive GPS capabilities. So that way you can record the speed and, of course, see a visual map on playback. You also see a graph or bar on the actual speed that the vehicle's driving. You can also make clips. Very important. You're going to have hours and hours of stored video, but you may just need 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 minutes of a clip to show to management or law enforcement or whatnot. We can make a clip for that 2 minutes in proprietary format where it's protected. They have to have our software to view it, or a basic media, Windows Media Player or VLC, not protected, but you have the ease of playing back virtually on any other computer. And then we have what we call kind of in the middle, a soft load software that will give you all the features, because your basic media player and VLC is not going to give you speed, it's not going to give you map. However, this other one, you don't have to worry about loading software. Like I said, it's a soft load just for that video, that clip. And they'll see the map, they'll see speed, they'll see turn signals turned on, the brakes, the stop arm extended. Any particular switch that's turned on can be wired to our video systems to show. You can pull a report up showing every time they apply the brakes, every turn signal, warning lights, hydraulic system, a lift being activated, you name it. We can wire into it and then have it shown on playback or a report generated off of that. We also have a blur feature. If you're wanting to protect other passengers where they're not being seen on playback and maybe just the perpetrator or the accused one or whatnot, we can blur out everything else but. It's totally customized. You can blur out everything but a particular area or opposite. As I was mentioning earlier, we support Wi-Fi offload and recorded video via cellular live video feed. All of our systems will provide those 3 models. And so you can set up your customer with, let's say, Wi-Fi in the bus yard or the vehicle yard where everything's being parked maybe at the end of each shift. And this is a way if they want, let's say, video footage from a particular time or date, when that vehicle comes into the yard, it's already pre-programmed and will offload that portion of video automatically. Or all of our systems also come with a panic or emergency button. If they push that button, it's going to mark a certain portion of video. That video, that portion marked, will automatically be offloaded once it gets into the Wi-Fi range. Now, the same features can be done with the cellular live video feed also. Something that's also good with each system or each, let's say, technology is also the ability to see how the system's doing. Again, it's important. So often, the low video systems on a vehicle are kind of a silent partner. We're just figuring they're sitting there recording, every time the vehicle comes on, it shuts off and goes off, and you never need the video until something happens. Well, it's also very handy to know if, again, camera view went out or some other feature or something failed on the system. So you're automatically notified in advance so you can take actions to get it corrected before that time comes that you need footage for an incident and you don't have it. So being proactive, this is also very good and part of why you want to get a service contract with your customers so you can be part of that. They can report to you that, hey, it looks like camera 2's out on bus number or truck number. You can then come out and do the repairs and they're up and running again. They can also, with our software, basically the system's pinged every time the vehicle's turned on. It'll say in the vehicle or bus yard, it gets pinged. You got to report. Your customer have a report showing, yep, we read each bus. The systems came on, they're recording. If it did not ping, then they know to look and see, well, why didn't bus number 21 show that it had a ping this morning when it started up? So it's very good and useful information to make it overall more reliable and that your customer is equipped with information that they need when it's needed. Here again, I was just, I should move to this screen, sorry about that, but this is going over some of the real-time system health check status. Here's the little button, the LED system status display module, which gives the operator or driver of the vehicle the ability to push the little panic button if they have something they want to report to management. It also shows the status of the system as it's recording, whether cameras failed, recording failed, so they can report that as well. If there's a monitor on board the vehicle, maybe a bus, they can actually see if a camera view is out. Also, the passengers, a constant reminder to help deter misbehavior. If they can see a little monitor up on board, this is very similar. Just like a monitor, maybe in a retail store where you can see yourself, you know that you're being watched. Same thing here. We have monitors that can be mounted inside a public transportation vehicle or a school bus that lets the kids, the passengers know and realize, hey, we're being recorded and this is proof of it. This is just another close-up and going over the little monitor that helps deter misbehavior. Also for setup, if the customer needs something changed, maybe the frame rate, resolution settings, this makes it really handy. You power it up. There's obviously a code that you have to enter into the buttons to allow you access to the DVR menu. You can make those changes. You can play back footage while you're on the bus if you wanted to. You can retrieve footage right there on the bus. Things of that nature. We also have live GPS tracking abilities. That way they can actually monitor at any given moment the vehicles en route. It's feature-rich as well. You're going to be able to tell how fast they're going. You can set up a geo-fence area where they could be alerted via their app or the actual software, our software on the computer, if the vehicle goes outside of a certain geofence range. If they're going over, let's say, preset speeds, they go too fast over the speed limit, you'll be alerted to that as well. Anyhow, this pretty much ends our presentation. Like I said, just kind of wanted to go through the main points everywhere. If there's any questions y'all like to ask me at this moment, please use our chat feature. I will be following up via email as well to thank you all for joining this presentation. and that you have my contact information here available. I'm here to answer your questions. You can give me a buzz on our phone, through my email. Be glad to spend time with you to go over particular details and features of the system, maybe how to approach any particular market that you're interested in, how to set up a presentation. I'll help you with that as well. I'll give a few moments here for anyone who may want to submit a question. We have one question here. What size hard drives do you offer? We have a few different ones. It starts at 500 gig. We have a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte. And that's for the main hard drives. The SD cards start at 32, 64, 128, and 256. On the 5-channel unit, it uses SD cards only, and you can either have both cards working in tandem, double your capacity 512, or you can have it as a backup where it's a mirror recording. Any other questions? Got a question here. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how the system will interact with cellular? Well, for the most part, the cellular network would be for live video feed. So someone at the main office, let's say, could look in and see live video, the actual camera views on the vehicles. Now that also could work as far as a panic button. Again, you'd be wanting to log in, I think, to see the live video, but we have it set up once you go cellular, the driver can hit that panic button and you would be then alerted back in the office that maybe there's some sort of situation going on that needs the attention, and to maybe, you know, bring in law enforcement, of course, depending on the seriousness of the situation. That also includes, of course, the live GPS tracking. We've got a few other questions here. Bear with me. I have someone from Pakistan. First time attending this webinar. I like what he sees. Quite informative. Thank you, sir. And I'd love to follow up with you if there's some more we can help you out with. Do you have a 360-degree camera? Yes and no. At this moment today, I am actually doing some research and trying to determine which vendor we're going to use. We have access to a lot of different camera manufacturers. We've seen some. We want to make sure we're getting the right choice. I've got some very wide angle, but true 360 in the format for these recorders, I will have shortly. I do know there's a need, a request for that. I've actually got some customers that I am trying to get this taken care of with them. So yes, sir, it will be very soon. Good question, and it is the way of the future. Bear with me, let's move on. How about powering devices, backup power? Very good question, and something I didn't touch on. We do have battery backups. In other words, if the vehicle should lose power, this is basically a battery in line with the main power source. So if the main power gets disconnected or whatnot, let's say in a real horrific accident of some sort, then you have this backup battery to then resume, or I should say, it's an uninterrupted power source is what it's called. So that way the system will remain on and recording, and then eventually will shut down gracefully. Something else I'd like to bring up, all of our systems are Linux-based operating system, which is considered a more robust operating system, especially in the mobile market. Yes, true, because the electricity on a vehicle, 12-volt DC powered, vehicles are noisy. They are noisy. They're being turned off and on all the time. You have that surge of power when it's being started. Now they're being shut down. You have equipment being turned off and on the vehicles. So it's important that you have a good, robust operating system. And there's nothing wrong with having these backup batteries on any system or any one that you sell, because that in itself also works as a little bit of a filter. Although I have sold just filters, not a backup battery, but inline power filters to help filter out and maintain and regulate the proper voltage being supplied to these recording systems. Good question. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Another one. Can you email the presentation? Yes, I would be glad to. It may be a separate file. I'm not sure. It's a pretty big file. But if we need to, I can send it to on some sort of other site. Lots of words at the moment that you can retrieve it. Like Photo Bucket or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I will get that to you. This is a question I think I'm going to have to get back on. Let me read it here. What bandwidth will we need minimum for the video communications through your system? I'm not 100% sure what you're meaning, if it's something to do with the wireless, cellular. I definitely want to know more about it. If the individual who sent that to me, if you could send that to my email address so that we can talk more in detail and get a better understanding. If I don't have the answer for you, I will get with engineering for sure. Thank you very much for that. Another question here. Oops, hold on. Just jumped on. We're getting quite a few questions, which is very good. I appreciate that. Are you able to meet the requirements for the Buy America Act? Currently, no, because most of the time, I understand the Buy America Act is needing a percentage, pretty high percentage, of the material manufactured or made here in the States. Now, I have had, now normally a school district, you don't have these kind of issues. Most often it's with federal funds, maybe a transit authority. And I know there's ways of getting around it, and I'll be glad to find out more about that. But the folks there at the transit authorities typically know ways of, obtaining certain certificates. I guess I want to say I've heard of some of them getting, I don't want to say leniencies of that nature, not forgiveness, but they can get to where that it's legal for them to buy it. But it has to fall under certain rules, and there's certain information you have to obtain. Sometimes it's just a matter of it being assembled here in the States, even though parts and components are somewhere else in the world. But they can usually get excused notes, typically, or change percentage of the purchase. Here's a good question, and that's yes. Will these units be at the ISC West for us to see? Yes, they will. We will have, of course, Costar video will be there, and we're going to have information and folks to talk to that you can speak with regards to our product line. And we'll have some literature available to hand out. Look forward to seeing you there, too. Let me see here. I think we still have more coming in. Where do you think it could be used at tech, transportation, traffic industry? I'm thinking I'm not maybe understanding that question fully. Again, needs more details. Love to talk to you more in detail. If you would, my information there as far as a phone or my email address. Let's talk more one-on-one on that one and see if we can't collaborate and get some answers for you and both understand. If there's a market and it's mobile out there, we can sell to it, and your customer will benefit from it. So I'm very interested in talking more to you about that. Is there any license required from your Department of Commerce or any approval? Well, not to my knowledge. Again, I might need more details, but if you're asking a license on our software, we don't charge. It is free and available to any customer who purchases our equipment. So you as a dealer or integrator, it would be provided to you a link, basically that simple, a link that we can provide to you to upload to your computer or pass on to your customer. I think maybe the main thing there I'm not understanding is from the Department of Commerce. I don't know if that means being used outside the country. Again, please, let's talk one-on-one so I can help you out with that one. Scrolling through here. Hey, there's Dropbox. That's probably the one, yeah. I would use Dropbox as far as getting that presentation to you if it's too large to normal email. Very good. Thank you very much. Is our equipment UL listed? Yes, sir. It is, tested to meet the certain requirements for the mobile industry. And, if it's UL, it would be also approved for any interior, or I should say in buildings and such. Okay, I'm not seeing any other more questions at the moment. I'm glad to hang around here for a minute or two longer, just to see if any others come in. I really appreciate your time this afternoon to go over this information and to ask questions. Anything else? I'm going to scan through this here just to make sure there's not a question I missed in there, because there's quite a few there that we went through. I'm not sure I mentioned here, I've been doing this for about 25 years. School bus video is the main market, but I've sold just about any other vehicle that I showed you on this presentation or that we mentioned. I believe I've gotten all the questions here so far. And I do hope to hear from the folks who I wasn't able to give a direct answer. I do want to look into that and make sure you're taken care of. Okay, hey, we do have another question here. Do you have an IP rating on the recorders for ruggedness? Oh, okay, yeah, IP rating. Recorders, no, I mean, I'm sure that falls into a place or category, but they are inside the interior of a vehicle. In some cases, a locked box, but normally not on the outside, exposed to, rain and things of that nature. But as far as, being used to different humidity levels, yes, they're used in that, but not in the open weather, like different camera heads. We do have camera heads that are rated IP66, 67, for different pressure levels of water or pressure washer, things of that nature. But I will say that the recorders are meant for the mobile application, just not out in the weather. But a lockbox or inside any vehicle, whether it's 0 or 25 below, they're going to work. We do have, if I may, if we are using a spinning hard drive, they do have built-in heaters. If it is a solid state and SSD drive where there is no spinning moving parts, that's not required. It doesn't matter if it's 25 below. It's still going to come on and record and do just fine. So I hope that answers that question. If there is something else that's more particular detail needed, again, glad to answer it. Let's get together and talk about that more, especially if it's an application that you're concerned or interested in. Let's sort that out and find out the details you need. Any others? Any other questions? Really appreciate everyone attending here today. Anxious with all the questions and the number of attendees to work with you all individually on your any potential deals, because I think you'll have quite a few. Lots out there, lots of possibilities. I think we have, hold on here, one more question. Okay, this here is this right, that webinar recording will be on your website for reference and downloading? Ooh, do not know. I don't think so, but I can definitely get it to you via Dropbox or something of that nature. But I don't know if it's going to be, that's a good idea. I'll certainly ask and see if we can't have it available on our website. Otherwise, individually, I'll try to get it to anyone who requests it. Just got word from our marketing manager that it will be on the Costar YouTube marketing profile in the next week or two. So we'll be on our YouTube profile. So it will be available that way to view and for you to keep or store or whatnot. So I hope that's useful. But if you need it before then, I'll be glad to get work out whatever it makes or whatever it takes to get it to you. Again, you got my direct information, contact information. Let me know. I'm here to help. I want you all to know that as well, that I'm here to help in any of your efforts out there working with your customers to work on quotes, information, I am your support here on the mobile video end of things. I'm anxious and ready to help you all out. Any other questions? Okay. Yes. Is this right that the webinar recording will be on your website for reference and downloading? It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be the Costar YouTube reference. I'm not really familiar with that other than it's going to be YouTube available. And I'm sure that I can provide more details of how to obtain that. If you reach out to let me know just that, that you and I spoke here during the chat conference. We're going on close to nearly an hour. Please reach out, contact me. I will send a follow-up to every email that for everyone who signed up. But please reach out to my phone number, my email address, and we'll talk more. I'll get any information you need to help suit you. And again, thank you very much for your time, and that's it for now. Y'all have a very good day, and thank you very much for your time.